If you had the possibility to help ease the pain of a loved one in your life, would you take it? Survey finds 70% of Americans in favor of allowing doctors to hasten a terminally ill patient's death when the matter is described as allowing the doctor to end the patient's life by some painless means. At the same time, far fewer than 51% support it when the process is described as doctors helping the patient commit suicide, stated by Lydia Saad, 2013, from Gallup News. Many Americans patients today are fighting against painful symptoms with the hope of ending their suffering, yet most of them are declined by medical practitioners of that choice.
The federal government proposes that euthanasia should be legalized under the context of freedom and liberty. People that face inhuman suffering of illnesses should have the human characteristics of choosing his or her own destiny. And through careful research, we have gained the necessary knowledge to validate our opinion as the correct conjuncture on whether or not the United States of America should legalize euthanasia. And so today we will discuss the ever-growing debate about euthanasia and why it is such a controversial topic, as well as to provide a possible solution to this dilemma.
In the United States, the practice of euthanasia is illegal in all states with the exception of Oregon. Our proposal is to legalize active and voluntary euthanasia wherein patient is conscious of what he or she is asking for. William Gray, an honorary research associate and professor at University of Queensland, gives us a philosophical Kantian perspective of autonomy, where autonomy means an individual will make his or her actions and decisions through their morals and dignity, not because of peer influence. Gray adds, the right to determine one's own destiny autonomously and to be free from heteronomous determination by others, meaning we should not allow the government to intervene with personal decisions when a patient is conscious, voluntary, and active. Gray also states, by not relieving those who are suffering, it is cruel, unfair, and the denial of their own basic rights. The government in no way should influence, change, or make your beliefs, values, decisions, etc. If humans have the right to choose how they want to live, taking their decision of death would make it unconstitutional. Ronald Dworkin, a professor of law at New York University School of Law and at Oxford University, addresses humans should not be forced to die a natural way. In other words, humans should not have the assistance of a doctor to perform euthanasia taken away from them because it's not a natural way to die. More specifically, many religious people go against the idea of euthanasia, not because it's a natural way of death. However, genetic engineering and technology to keep a person alive is not natural either.
The barrier that is prohibiting the legalization of euthanasia is neither economical or medical. The barrier that is prohibiting the legalization of euthanasia is the ethical implications of allowing, under federal law, euthanasia is an option for medical practitioners. According to Diaconescu, author of Euthanasia, Contemporary Reading in Law and Social Justice, he clearly differentiates two very similar terms yet vastly different at the same time. According to him, being alive is vastly different than living. Diaconescu points to humanistic natures, calling them rights that every person is entitled to: the right to die alive and the right not to be suffering unnecessarily. Being alive is exactly how it sounds. Biologically speaking, many things are alive, from plants to animals, but what Diaconescu differs from being alive versus living in the truest context of the word is a productive existence both biologically and socially. Euthanasia debate has always been about the moral implications of taking a life away, but can you call a person under incredible suffering whose current life being unproductive biologically and socially a life worth living for? Gerard and Wilkinson from the Journal of Medical Ethics in 2005 points to three main arguments on why euthanasia is not already legalized under federal law. The first and most important argument is deciding who has the right to take away a life, whether it be your own or somebody you hold in high regards. The second argument is the stigma of euthanasia, as it would still be viewed as either homicide or suicide, both viewed by society as wrong in every sense of the word. Suicide is not an appropriate measure to deal with suffering as judged by my society. But at the same time, in general consensus, homicide is wrong even if the intention is pure at heart. The last point made by Gerard and Wilkinson states that who is responsible for performing the act of euthanasia after all said and done.
One of the biggest values of the United States of America has always been freedom and liberty, where all men and women are created equal with natural rights. Yet many of the suffering patients do not have the opportunity to choose their own destiny. According to Haynes of British Medical Journal from 1994, it makes no sense to discuss euthanasia in terms of being for or against it. The basic question is whether we accept the right of human beings to decide for themselves how their lives will end. When patients are fighting against painful illnesses without cure, they should be able to make the decision and decide what is best for themselves, and even if it means ending their suffering by the method of euthanasia. Euthanasia is often viewed as a solution to some, and that attitude towards it should be maintained. With support from the general public that agree on the issue of euthanasia, public outcry can help promote the issue at hand and possibly legalize euthanasia. We should have the right to choose what to do with our lives. It would be unjust to live unhappily and suffer from an illness that cannot be cured. Those who choose to end their lives must have suitable reasons, and we should respect those reasons.
In conclusion, with thoroughly studied research, we believe the United States of America should legalize euthanasia under sufficient valuable reasons. First, we discussed the problem which of euthanasia is illegal. People should be allowed to choose whether they want to live or not, with of course having a valuable reason to take part in the process of euthanasia. Secondly, we mentioned the case, which is a barrier that is keeping euthanasia illegal. It is neither economical nor medical reasons are keeping euthanasia illegalized. People view euthanasia as a crime. It is seen as committing suicide, and it goes against morals and values people carry. Lastly, we explained the solution to supporting the legalization of euthanasia. Living in the land of freedom, we are granted our freedom and liberty with equal natural rights. If so, why is our right to make our own personal decisions taken away? The government should give us the right to choose when to end our suffrage. People around the world have different morals and values. Unfortunately, many people in the United States view euthanasia as inhumane and as an act of violation against the law. Euthanasia is not a crime when one wants to end their suffrage from an incurable illness. It would be immoral to allow such pain in someone's life when she is no longer happy and has made the decision to end their life in order to be at peace. Euthanasia should be legalized in sake of the people's happiness and their natural rights.